Arsenal versus Real Madrid in the Champions League. If Arsenal get into the semi-finals past Real Madrid, it's one of the greatest results in the history of Arsenal Football Club, certainly in European competition and in recent history. The Mikel Arteta project has got a big opportunity, 2 legs against a Real Madrid side that is fallible, is vulnerable, isn't perfect. I refuse to believe that it is. And this Arsenal side have got a big opportunity. The amount of justification, satisfaction that Mikel Arteta would get, credibility, a boost to his confidence, a boost to his kind of PR with Arsenal fans, it would be gargantuan. It would make Arsenal believe that they can go on to not only win the European Cup this season, not saying it's lightly, but if they get past Real Madrid, it certainly has to be an option. But also the kind of short-term future of Arsenal Football Club going into the Premier League campaign next season and multiple cups, because Arsenal have a chance against Real Madrid. I refuse to believe they don't. I know Gabriel is injured. I've seen Paul Merson on Sky Sports saying that Gabriel is a bigger miss than Saka. He'd rather have Gabriel back than Saka come back. I think that's absolute craziness. Absolute craziness. Bukayo Saka in this kind of game, he is such a kind of player that rises to the challenge. The goal he scored against Bayern Munich in the first leg, in the first 10 minutes this time last year, was of the highest quality. Absolutely outrageous. Arsenal can't defend their way past Real Madrid. They can't keep a clean sheet in both ties and get into the next round of the Champions League. They need star power going forward. They need Bukayo Saka. I know he's not 100% fit, but even if he can play 65, 70 minutes of the first game, 75, 80 minutes of the second leg, it gives Arsenal a chance. You can't have a perfect back four with Gabriel, Saliba, all these guys, with Moreno, Trossard, Martinelli. It doesn't work. Saka coming back changes the game in a big way. This Real Madrid side will concede goals in the tie if Arteta manages the game right and gets Saka into little opportunities, little half spaces where he can get shots away, where he can do little 1-2s around the corner. This Real Madrid back four is fallible. Now, obviously, there's the counter argument about what they have going forward. You look at someone like Mbappe, hitting 33, 34 goals this season. I think it's 33 goals and 47 appearances. He's absolutely looking like the player that we all thought he'd be. But that's where the Arsenal back line comes in. They've bought all these centre-backs. They bought all these right-backs for a reason, surely. You think Timber can come in, Ben White, alongside Saliba. David Raya's been fantastic this season. With Skelly, who can provide something going forward. And suddenly, you want Gabriel. Of course, it makes you a whole different proposition defensively. But you're probably going to... You're not favourites anyway. Arsenal aren't favourites against Real Madrid. At least Saka coming back gives you that star power. Another centre-back that can just maybe defend slightly better. I just don't think it improves Arsenal in the same way that Saka does. It is a bonus to have Saka. You'd rather have Gabriel as well, but Saka, what an opportunity this is to get him into little moments in the game where he can influence the final third and maybe get Arsenal a couple of goals. If you look at the tie, Arsenal have to go to the Bernabeu with at least one. At least one. It wasn't a classic Bayern Munich side that beat Arsenal last season. It wasn't a great side. They didn't go on to win the European Cup. It wasn't a special Bayern side. It was a Bayern side in rapid transition. Didn't even win their own league last season. But they still managed to grind out Arsenal. A 2-2 draw at the Emirates was so disappointing, particularly with the defending for some of the goals. I look back at those games. I thought Ben White was absolutely superb. I forgot how good he was. He actually had an opportunity to make it 2-0 really early, 14 minutes in against Bayern Munich because he was bursting forward. If he can play right back or even centre back, he's a big asset for Arsenal. I think he's almost as good as Gabriel anyway. So if you can have Skelly, Ben White, Saliba, and then Yuri and Timber, it's still a fantastic backline. It really is. And then he was fantastic defensively as well. Leroy Sané burst through. It was actually Kirill that gave the ball away. And you think if Kirill plays this game, I really can honestly sit here and say Arsenal have got a 0% chance of getting through. I don't know why he would start ahead of Ben White, obviously part of the squad for the Everton game most recently. I have no idea why. I don't know why Kirill would start this game unless there's an injury concern that I'm not quite sure about. I know Calafiori's out, but from what I can see, Timber, Ben White, Saliba, Skelly has to be the back four. It's actually quite dynamic as well. Timber bombing forward, he's been fantastic in more of his kind of naturalised position, and so is Skelly. What an opportunity Skelly has to burst through the lines, and you can certainly do that against this Real Madrid side. Their midfield isn't as powerful as it is off the ball. I mean, Camavinga's fantastic, Valverde's fantastic, but you look at maybe Vasquez at right back, you think about without Tchouaméni in midfield, Arsenal got a beautiful opportunity, particularly on that left-hand flank, to overload Real Madrid, to use pace, to use the kind of energy of Skelly, to get into big positions, crossing things potentially to Bukayo Saka. I have to talk about Martin Odegaard. He's a big name that we talked about in December, January. A few injury concerns this season. Where are Arsenal without Martin Odegaard? When he's back, where are Arsenal? When he's back in against big sides in European competitions, where is he? Now, we haven't got that much data to look at. He hasn't played that many seasons of Champions League football with Arsenal. One? So this is his second season. But you want to see him get on the ball, dictate play. Him and Declan Rice. It's a powerful midfield. If they can get it right, they're going to find space against Real Madrid. Honestly, they will. So Martin Odegaard has to be putting in a big performance. I remember an opportunity in Munich to equalise and keep Arsenal in the Champions League, and he scuffs this shot. It goes a little bit wide of the post. Should have been hitting it across the face of the box. And you think that was his big opportunity to make a big marker. I'm a big player. I'm a world-class midfielder, and it didn't happen. And Martin Odegaard, I think, went missing for a couple of the big games last season. You want to see him get on the ball. You want to see Arsenal trying to dictate play, 55-60% possession. If you let Real Madrid dictate things in the first few minutes of the first leg, it's going to quiet the atmosphere. I don't think Arsenal got a chance. But if they can put their foot on the ball with the powerful midfield they've got, Partey starting, Rice starting with Odegaard, with Saka ahead of them, it's a good side. It's a really, really good side. The big player they have to look out for is Jude Bellingham. Not because he's a fantastic player against any side, but the way that maybe Everton have had decent chances against Arsenal in the last few weeks, alongside West Ham, alongside Nottingham Forest, you feel that Arsenal struggle a little bit with that second ball. Maybe a cross gets dealt with by the centre-backs, Gabriel Saliba, but the kind of on-running midfielder from deep, I feel like they've not dealt with that very well in the last few weeks. The kind of a dynamic runner from the edge of the box. Bellingham is all about that. Bellingham is absolutely unbelievable this season. He ripped up Man City in the first leg, scored a great goal. If Arsenal don't handle midfield runners, particularly Jude Bellingham's quality, they'll be in a world of pain. And he's so good, he could score a couple against Arsenal, even in the first leg at the Emirates. So they have to lock him up. And the way they do that is by keeping the ball and putting Real Madrid on the back foot. If Arsenal can go to the Bernabeu with a 1-0 lead, I think they've got a big chance. You obviously want 2. I don't think you can ask for too much in the world of Champions League football against Real Madrid. I don't see Arsenal going 2-0 up to the Bernabeu, but 2-1, some sort of lead, some sort of development from Bayern Munich last season where they went to Munich with a draw, nowhere near good enough. I think they're a little bit unlucky that they have to play the second leg in the Bernabeu. I mean, they've qualified out of the Champions League in a fantastic position. Real Madrid lucky to almost qualify out of the Champions League. They were so poor at the start. Same with PSG and Manchester City as well, of course. But you have to think, you have to take some advantage. You can't just be drawing the game. Even 0-0 would be a terrible result to go to the Bernabeu because it gives all these guys, Vinicius, Rodrigo, just a platform to go and express themselves for 90 minutes. They have to go with a 1-0, 2-0. I could see it being 2-1 to Arsenal. I know it's absolutely crazy. I'd like to say on some levels, a football fan, that we see it because the Premier League's been so bad this season. Can Arsenal represent? Can Aston Villa represent? I'm sure they can. All I'd say, if I was an Arsenal fan, I just want some improvement from this time last season. I know it's not ideal. There's always going to be major injuries. The whole back line of Real Madrid are injured. Gabriel's a big miss. Can you go to the Bernabeu with a lead? Can you go with Odegaard dominating the ball? Can you go with Saka coming back and looking unbelievable? It doesn't have to be just come back from injury. It wouldn't be his fault if he didn't put in the best performance. But Declan Rice, these big names, can they do it? I think they can go to the Bernabeu with a 2-1 lead. I don't know if it's enough, but I think they can actually win at the Emirates. Their home record in Champions League football is absolutely fantastic, and it's the first time Real Madrid have ever played at the Emirates in a competitive game. So it's going to be a juicy game, 2-1. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Make sure you subscribe. I'll be reacting after the game.